Welcome to the episode one of An Alchemical Transmission. Hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. I am Priya, and I bring to you a series of episodes on lived experiences. So, the first topic that we're going to talk about is what is mind. And I want to tell you that the mind is not what you think it is, okay? So, most people are at war with their own minds. They're trying to silence it, they're trying to control it, they're trying to transcend it, they're trying to bypass it in the name of spirituality. And a lot of that confusion comes from the way the New Age spirituality has fragmented us. I'm sure you've heard of terminologies like get into the heart versus the mind, intuition versus logic, ego versus soul, right? But here is the truth that most people are not talking about or probably have never heard is that the mind is not the enemy. And it is definitely not what you think it is. Now, today I want to offer you a different understanding of the mind, and not as a problem to fix, however, as a field to work with. Okay. Now, I understand, or this understanding is not coming from theory. This did not come from books. This I don't read any books. This did not come from spiritual concepts. The reason why I don't read books is because I feel that my understandings gets distorted. I really don't know who is writing from experience and who is not. I would love to read somebody who's written from experience. I have read a few books like that, but I don't heavily rely on books for my knowledge. I rely heavily on my higher conscious for my knowledge, that is for sure. Okay, now with that, getting into it. This information that I'm going to be sharing with you is come after a lot of confusion, after watching how spiritual language can distort self-trust, and after integrating what actually changes a life, not just a mindset. So, what I'm sharing is here not a belief, it is a distilled understanding of what becomes visible once the noise settles down. Okay, so let's begin by clearing one thing: the mind is not the brain. I'll say that again. The mind is not the brain. Brain is the hardware. It's biological, it's electrical, it's measurable. The mind, however, is not located in the skull. The mind is a field, an invisible interface between your awareness and the reality you experience. If the brain is an instrument, the mind is the operating system for all you new age people, okay? And most people have never questioned the operating system that they are running. Now, the mind, like I told you earlier, is a living field, and this field is made out of impressions that you have observed, okay? Observed from the outside world, patterns that you have inherited, parents, grandparents, people you know, elders of the family, and outside. Timelines that you have been unconsciously running, okay? Get more into it in the episodes to come. Identities that you're maintaining. I am this, I am so and so. And it's usually something like I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, I am short tempered, I am not enough, I am ugly, so many more things like that. Okay. And stories, the stories that you have told yourself that you have never questioned. So the field is constantly interpreting reality for you, not showing you what is, but showing you what aligns with who you believe you are. And that is why two people can experience the same event and live very complete different realities afterwards. Mm, yeah. As simple as somebody goes through a medicine ceremony, or somebody consumes weed, or somebody consumes mushrooms, but the experience that two people have are very different. So the mind does not see the truth, it sees consistency. What I mean by that is, this is what is going to change everything for you, okay? The mind's primary job to name is not growth, it's not awakening, it is not evolution. The mind's job is continuity. to keep your experience consistent with your identity, your self image, your emotional baseline, your worldviews. Not who you truly are, but who you think you are. Okay? That is why the mind resists change, clings to familiar pain, loops old narratives, and sabotages unfamiliar peace. Not because it is broken or not because anything else, but it's not its job. Its job is to keep you in the continuity of who you think you are. This is where a lot of spiritual confusion begins as well, because you're told to get out of your mind and live from your heart. You are told that your mind is the ego and your thoughts are the problem. So people try to silence the mind instead of understanding it. They try to bypass it with love, light, positivity, motivation, right? While the feel underneath stays unchanged. And when you wonder why the same pattern repeats, the same relationship shows up, the same emotional loop, returns, because the field was never edited, because the mind is keeping you at continuity, like I mentioned before. So, what is mind mastery? What is the real work, or how do we actually work with the mind? Your mind mastery is not about controlling your thoughts. Thoughts are outputs, okay? So there's no point in you controlling your thoughts. Mind mastery is about upgrading the field that produces them. Listen to that again, okay? When you understand the mind as a field, you stop fighting it and you start editing patterns. You start rewriting meanings. You start interpreting timelines. You start choosing different internal responses. You start reconstructing how you interpret experiences. When you do this, your field begins to change. When the field changes, meanings your thoughts change, and when your thoughts change, your behavioral changes. When your behavior changes, your entire life trajectory shifts, not through force, but through the architecture. So now, the mind is the most beautiful tool and the most powerful tool until it runs you. Okay? And it's the most liberated ally once you learn how to work with it. So nothing in you needs to be destroyed. Everything in you, though, needs to be understood, reconfigured, and brought back into alignment. Now, this is what I want you to do, okay? I want to leave you with mm, this work that I want you to reflect on for, okay? Where in your life are you trying to change outcomes without changing the field that creates them? What identity are you unconsciously protecting, even if it is costing you growth? And what becomes possible if the mind stops being the enemy and becomes an instrument? Think about this, and I would love to see your thoughts in the comment. So, if this transmission resonated, stay close to this work. This is a kind of inner architecture we move through inside the alchemy of this space, and across through all the transformations, across through all the transformations here. Remember that you need to understand the system that you are running. And until the next transmission, work with the field and not against it. I will see you next Wednesday. Take care.